guys, it's Glenn from Glenn'sCarCollection.com, and today we're going to learn all about the Audrain Motor Week that takes place in beautiful Newport, Long Island at the end of September, beginning of October. If you follow the channel, you know that I go to Monterey Car Week in the middle of August out in Monterey, Carmel, the Monterey Peninsula, and it's just beautiful. Well, the fall is beautiful in New England as long as the weather cooperates. So in this video, we'll learn a lot about the weather. This is the new 996 Sport Classic. A lot of Porsche very represented here. You'll see the latest and greatest Ferraris. So I'll get into this weekend and how to ball on a budget, how to get in cheaply and see as many events as possible. So Newport, Rhode Island is right on the ocean. I've been there quite a few times, but never for their Motor Week, so this was an exciting event. The Porsche Club, local Porsche Club here, was well represented. You can see a couple club coupes there and some safari cars. And remember, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button, like and share, and as always, leave a comment below. Here's a beautiful RS. So they really had some stunning cars and a really good mix of cars. So this is the first big event. It's called The Gathering. It takes place at Rocky Point. You can see a Frozen Berry GT4 right above the roofline there, and as well as this beautiful 356. So these, you have to buy tickets to these events. I believe this event went from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Balling on a budget. Since I drove up Friday morning, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours north of New York City, right up Route 95. For The Gathering, they had a basically a half-price ticket from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, so you couldn't enter to two, $180 a person. You can bring kids too. I believe kids under 12 get a slight discount, but it's not a lot. It's like $150, so it's almost their way of saying don't bring the kids. This is my favorite car I saw at the show. It's a V12 Vantage of 2017. Manual, 3 pedals, 6-liter V12, over 500 horsepower. Manual is also available in model years 11 and 12 for the V12 Vantage. And how can you tell it's a 17 with the orange lipstick there? So they had everything from classics, Jaguars, Ferraris, you name it at this event. Beautiful weather. This was sunny and 65 degrees. So I said, wow, this is going to be a great weekend. Unfortunately, this time of year, you can't predict the weather in the Northeast. And unfortunately, this weekend got rained out about half of it, but we'll get into that in a second. So beautiful Enzo Ferrari, Koenigsegg. So you see everything's included with your ticket price, like refreshments. And it's just really stunning. People are dressed up. I was probably underdressed. So next time I will dress up, but beautiful skies, beautiful scenery, and of course, beautiful cars. Now the next day, and unfortunately, which was Saturday, October 1st, the weather was horrible. There was supposed to be a big Cars and Coffee. The Audrain Museum does Cars and Coffees all the time. So if you're local to Newport, it's worth going. They do Cars and Coffee once a month, every few weeks, whatever it is. So this was just like their main event for the year, what they call Car Week. They were supposed to have a big Cars and Coffee at Fort Adams. They were expecting 400 or 500 cars. It was a total washout. I went, I stood under a Bring a Trailer tent with about 10 diehards like myself, people that had bought cars on Bring a Trailer, but the rest of the event was washed out, could have poured. But again, beautiful day here at Rocky Point, and you can see literally the ocean comes up to this backyard. So that would have been events that you definitely want to do. You definitely want to do The Gathering on Friday, the Cars and Coffee Saturday morning at Fort Adams, and then you want to check out the Audrain Museum. What's great about the Audrain Museum, it had cars I like from the 90s. It had Supras, RX-7s, a 91 NSX, even some cars from the late 80s, like a 928 Porsche and the original M5. Also, the cars that are going to be on their concourse, and the way to think of the concourse is essentially it's their Pebble Beach that takes place Sunday morning. We'll get to that in a minute. So all the cars that are going to participate, or most of them, in the concourse on Sunday, they are on display and drive down the main road, Belleville Avenue, on Saturday. They did it, but it was pouring rain, so the Saturday events pretty much got rained out. So what I did on Saturday, essentially watched the cars down the avenue, even though it was pouring rain, and went to the Audrain Museum. I believe the Audrain Museum is open all year round, and they're going to have the 90s cars on display for the next month or two, and then they'll switch them around, so there's always a reason to go back. The Audrain Museum is fantastic. It's only like $25 to get in. Well worth it. It is a small museum, and you will go through it pretty quickly. So now they had some modern cars here. They even had some racing machines that you could try out. Here's a couple specialty Huracans here. A lot of Porsches, a lot of Ferraris, a lot of old Lamborghinis. This is still pictures from The Gathering. Most of the pictures you're going to see here from The Gathering, at least in the beginning of the video, because that was the only day it was sunny. So for example, here's from the local Porsche Club, 2 Club Coupes, a 997.1 and then a 991.1. And this is a special Club Coupe Blue. I forget the exact name of it, but it's stunning. I almost bought one of those before I bought my Miami Blue. I found one for sale, and then they sell for crazy money because they're so limited. Here you have a Safari 911. So you would do the gathering on Friday. On Saturday, I would say go to the Ford Adams Cars and Coffee. If you have time in the afternoon, see the cars running on the avenue. Somewhere in between, go to the Auto Museum. And then there's some cars on display after it. You can get tickets as well. I forget what that costs. Hard part is, now this is a Frozen Berry. This is basically Matt Farah's car, but a GT4 instead of a Boxster Spider. Parking is tough. I got dropped off at this event. If I had to park, there's no really parking on the street. There's a couple lots here and there, but they're kind of set up for production. So essentially on Newport, which is an island on both sides, actually a peninsula, on both sides of Newport, there are places you can park your car at mansions and take shuttle buses over. Now, I really love this Diablo. Now, I saw some kids in their 20s run over and said that was their dream car, the Countach. They've never seen a Countach in person. I felt bad correcting them that this was a Diablo. And the look on their faces, you should have seen it. So again, there's vendors here, Rolls-Royce. You have the Rolls-Royce SUV in that pinkish color. Really stunning that you can see from a mile away. They had really good pizza at this event too. Fresh brick oven pizza, which was really cool. So what you want to do after you do those events, this event on Friday, I saw everything with my $180 ticket from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So I think that's sufficient. I think I probably would have run out of stuff to do since the event isn't that big, even though there's a couple hundred cars. Now, this is the big event that you're looking at now. This is at the Breakers, which is always my favorite mansion there. The Breakers host the Concours in the backyard. Now, instead of paying for the $150, $200 ticket, you can get the $60 ticket, and then you can be there from 6:30 in the morning to 8:30. So all these pictures are shot about 6:30 in the morning as the cars are rolling in. That line you saw before where I showed the Breakers, you basically get a free coffee and a free donut with your $60 ticket. Now, all these cars are rolling in, so all these cars are going to be judged on the concourse, and there was a good mix of them, a lot of classic cars. Name your favorite car in the comments below. It's an old Aston Martin. And some of these older cars I'm not even familiar with. But it was really stunning to see, all the different years together, and everybody's so friendly, a lot of like-minded enthusiasts, and I think it's a great event if you've never attended. Again, Newport's about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours with traffic north of New York City, but you even have a 260Z here. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And I hope to see you at Newport next year.